WAC Football Friday. Football is back in the WAC. Our first weekend of WAC football since 2012 includes a conference matchup right off the bat.
Purple team will come out on top, playing Tarleton Texans.
Plus, we'll have highlights from Thursday night and preview the rest of the week. That's all ahead on WAC Football Friday. Football is back in the WAC. I'm Eric Danner. For the first time since 2012, WAC football is back on the gridiron, and in week number 1, we have a conference matchup as Tarleton travels to Stephen F. Austin. The Lumberjacks are coming off a 6-4 record while playing in the fall last season. SFA was also 4-0 at Homer Bryce Stadium. Stephen F. Austin is picked to finish second in the WAC this year. Tarleton is now in their second season in Division I. The Texans went 5-3 in the spring. That included a victory over FBS opponent New Mexico State. Tarleton is picked third in the WAC preseason coaches poll. The Texans and Lumberjacks kick things off at 6 p.m. Central Time on Saturday on ESPN+. We will be talking with Stephen F. Austin head coach Colby Carthel in our next segment. We have 2 other WAC schools in action on Saturday night. Let's start with Abilene Christian making the trip to Dallas to take on former WAC member SMU. ACU is one of only 15 FCS schools to play a fall schedule last season. The Wildcats are looking to pick up their first ever win against an FBS opponent. SMU was 7-3 last year. The Mustangs compete in the American Athletic Conference and were picked third in their media preseason poll. ACU and SMU is a 6 p.m. Central Time start on ESPN+. Our last game of the week features Dixie State hosting Sacramento State. The Trailblazers are entering their second season in Division I. For DSU, this will be their third home game as a D1 school. Sac State is picked 5th in the Big Sky preseason coaches and media polls. That game starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time and is also on ESPN+. Thursday night football, number 1 ranked and defending national champion Sam Houston playing at Northern Arizona to start the season. Bearcats strike first with Brennan Tibbs going 41 yards for the score. Eric Schmid had 3 touchdown passes on the night. Sam Houston up 21-10 at the half. And maybe the play of the game in the third quarter, Trevor Williams with the pick 6. He goes 75 yards to the house, as the kids say. Bearcats win 42-16. Let's go to Beaumont, Texas. Lamar hosting North American. Jalen Dumais to a very wide open Jack Rowe 42-yard score. The Cardinals put up 31 points in the first half and roll to a 47-3 victory. Coming up next on WAC Football Friday, find out why Colby Carthel thinks his wife is a lucky woman. We chat with the colorful head coach coming up after the break.
In the WAC, we value sportsmanship on the field
and in the stands.
We take pride in playing fair and being honest.
We honor the game by showing respect for our opponents,
The officials,
the fans, and our team,
great sportsmanship is about taking ownership after a loss
and being humble after a win.
We want you to team up with us by staying positive on the sideline.
because great sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Welcome back to WAC Football Friday. We have our first conference game in 9 years in Nacogdoches, Texas, as Stephen F. Austin plays host to Tarleton. We are now joined by the head coach at Stephen F. Austin. His name is Colby Carthel. Coach Carthel, welcome to WAC Football Friday.
Eric, thank you. It's great to be here and talking about WAC football for the first time in many moons. So it's around the corner, though. So bringing the WAC back in NAC.
Yeah, and it's been 12 years, or since 2012, I should say 9 years, since we've had WAC football. And the first conference game right off the bat, Stephen F. Austin against Tarleton. You've been around football for a long time, Coach. Opening with a conference opponent, does that change your preparation getting ready for the season?
I don't think it really changes anything in terms of your preparation. Puts a little more on it in terms of stakes for the year. A lot of times the big dogs, they start out with some patsies and warm up games and everything else. But when you're thrown right into a conference game, you're you're playing for a ring right there. And so the sense of urgency's got to be there throughout fall camp and as you prepare into game week, just to be ready to play, because you don't want something, some mistakes you made in week 1 to end up costing you a conference championship or trip the playoffs, week 11.
I got to imagine everybody's chomping at the bit to hit another team. As you mentioned on WAC Football Media Day about a month ago, Coach, you guaranteed me that a purple team was going to win, and that's going to be the case.
Yeah, purple and white. One of these guys, one of these teams are going to pull it out. So I just hope we coordinate our jerseys the same, or if we all show up in dark jerseys, we could have a lot of interceptions and turnovers in that game. It'd be awful confusing. But no, it's a really good opponent come to town here, Tarleton State. They came in here in 2019, our first year, and really put a whipping on us. And we've improved a lot since then. And I think it's going to be a fun opportunity for us to kind of gauge where we've come as a program and hopefully find a way to win a ball game Saturday night.
Yeah, Tarleton as an opponent, it's only their second season in Division I. But as you know, Coach, having been in the Lone Star Conference in Division II, Tarleton was always really tough. And then in the spring, they were able to knock off New Mexico State and FBS team. So how do you prepare for the Texans attack this week?
You better be on your A game. Coach Witten, who is actually a SFA alum, he played quarterback here back in the heyday. Does a great job of that program. It's his third stint there at Tarleton State, and I was part of the Lone Star Conference there for right at 20 years. And so last year was the first year of my 23-year coaching career that I didn't actually compete against Tarleton State. So got a lot of history with these guys. It's been a very streaky history. I don't think I beat them my first 5 years of coaching and beat them like 18 years in a row. And now I've lost to them 3 times in a row. So I'm hoping to get that thing flipped back, going the other way. But just years past playing them, I know they're going to be very, very well coached, very athletic. Some of those guys that just absolutely, manhandled us in 2019 are still on their roster. And so we're going to have our work cut out for us. It's going to be a tough game Saturday night.
Well, football is back in the WAC. It's going to be Saturday night in Nacogdoches, as you mentioned, Coach, Homer Bryce Stadium, a place in the fall last year you were able to go undefeated. How important is it to have that home field advantage to protect your home field there?
Everybody wants to win at home. That's where all your fans and alumni and boosters, really get a chance to see you play. And, there is some, positives to being home. You're in a familiar locker room and you've got access to things that you need up until game time. And so you do want to get off to a great start. What's neat this year is we've got a brand new field, Jimmy Murphy Field. We're dedicating that. Former Lumberjack, who's, lead gift, got us a brand new playing surface. It's really state of the art. The AstroTurf 3D1 with the Brock field. We've actually, instead of a bunch of rubber pellets on the ground, it's chewed up loblolly pine wood. And so that's kind of fitting for the Lumberjacks to have a bunch of pine wood in their infield. But it's going to be fun, a fun environment. This place has been hungry for a winter for a long time. We had really good crowds, even with limited capacity last year through the pandemic, and now with it being open 100% capacity, I expect a big crowd Saturday night, and hope we can produce and put a product on the field that they'll come back and see time and time again this fall.
Yeah, I was just talking with Kevin, your SID there at Stephen F. Austin. We have the commish going to be coming down to Nacogdoches for that game. And what's the atmosphere going to be like? You mentioned you had some fans last year, not nearly the capacity. I got to imagine everybody's really excited to be able to see a game in person this year.
And if the commission is coming, it's going to be a big game. So excited to have Commissioner Hurd here, and I know this kind of a feather in his cap, just to bring football back to the WAC. And so we're excited to host him. And like I say, our ticket sales have been phenomenal. Tailgates, they're lined up and around the block there to get in and set up. So the band will be performing, and I expect really, we've got a really good enrollment and with students back and on campus. And so I expect a good crowd Saturday night. Tarleton will travel well. They've always traveled well throughout the years. And so I know they're bringing their band over. And so it should be an electric atmosphere and 2 good teams going at it.
Coach, we had a chance to visit with a couple of your players during a WAC Football Media Day. Trey Self, your quarterback, defensive lineman, Dennis Asaga Day. I know recently it was announced some of your single-digit numbers, and those guys are both single-digit numbers. Tell us what that means and why that's important for those guys to have the single digits.
Nowadays it's just the super cool thing. Everybody wants a single digit, and I wore number 99 back when I played, so I must have been the most uncool guy on our team. But it's their coveted jerseys, and I think a lot of times it gets to be a popularity contest. Feelings get hurt. It's a nightmare for a head coach to try to please all 100 players in the jersey number they get. And so, we kind of adopted this from Matt Rule and the Baylor Bears. He instituted it over there a few years ago, and you vote on it. Your players actually vote on it. And so, and we go through the criteria, what it means to be a single digit. And it's not so much your best players or your most popular. It's just the guys that exemplify what it really means to be a lumberjack day in, day out, 24/7 in the classroom, in the community, and on the field. And so we elected 4 there after spring ball, and those 2 guys actually were elected then. And then we had 3 more at the end of summer access, summer workouts, and then we just got through doing 3 more this past week. I'm fixing to tweet another one actually today. So it's a great honor, and again, it sure cuts down on the complaining. Some old boy that wanted to be number 6, and he's 3rd on the depth chart and is a true sophomore and doesn't even see the field. Listen, pal, get in line. That's up to your teammates as to who's in number 6. So earn it next year and get voted into a single digit.
Well, Coach, you mentioned you were number 99 during your days, I believe, at Angelo State on the defensive side of the ball, but you're number 1 in the hearts of Sarah Carthel. You talked about on media day how lucky a woman she was. Can you kind of explain to our audience why she's such a lucky woman?
Well, if anybody was paying attention to college football last year, or even the ESPN brought back the college football promotional video the other day, saw a side of me they probably wish they hadn't of, but got a little excited last year after a overtime win against Abilene Christian, and ESPN had told us the national feed was off and we weren't on TV anymore, and we were celebrating. They hit me with the water, and I happened to fall out of my shirt and swing it around and celebrate a little bit with the players. It was just a fun moment and a big win for our program. We was having some fun, and go back in the locker room 20 minutes later, and they're, grab their phones. Coach, you're on national TV, and it went viral, and was rather it could have been humiliating for most people, but luckily I don't have body shaming problems, and I can roll the punches as water off a duck's back. But I told everybody, now everybody knows what a lucky lady Sarah Carthel is, married to this dad bod with all the chest hair.
Well, Coach, as a fellow dad, I'm very impressed that you had the courage to show the nation what you look like with your shirt off.
I don't know if it's courage or crazy or no gumption at all, but it happened, and you just kind of gotta own it now and just move on. A lot of people in this world take themselves way too serious, but Colby Carthel is not one of them.
Well, Coach, we wish you good luck this week against Tarleton. That's going to be a 6 o'clock Central Time kickoff on ESPN Plus. We can't wait to get started.
Should be a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me. Excellent.
That is Colby Carthel, the head football coach at Stephen F. Austin. We'll be right back. Welcome back to WAC Football Friday. At the WAC Football Preview last month in the Woodlands, Texas, several WAC football players were asked some not-so-serious questions. Here are Stephen F. Austin and Tarleton answering questions in this segment of WAC Football Would You Rather.
Would you rather give up social media or eat the same dinner for the rest of your life?
Oh. Give up social media or eat the same dinner? I could eat the same dinner.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's some meals that I can eat every day.
Go undefeated at home or on the road.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say undefeated on the road.
Alright. At home? You gotta.
I know
you gotta win at home.
Yeah, but being able to win at somebody else's house too is kind of like.
You gonna be losing in front of your home fans, though.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one duck the size of a horse?
I'm gonna say the one.
The one, right?
Yeah, one duck the size of the
The
horse.
strength in numbers.
That's
on
too
me.
many. That's too many. 100.
Fight 100 duck-sized horses or one duck the size of a horse.
I'm gonna take the one duck size of the horse.
Yeah.
100 duck.
Well, I gotta read this question again. 100 duck-sized horses? Wow.
That does it for this episode of WAC Football Friday. Make sure to watch all the games on ESPN Plus this weekend. Then check back here next week for another edition of WAC Football Friday.